Arabic is one of the most captivating and rewarding languages in the world, but it's also one of the easiest languages for people to give up on. Not because it's impossible, but because most people try to learn it the wrong way. Here's what usually happens. Someone gets inspired, they download a language app, or they sign up for a course and they commit at first. But after a few weeks or months, they hit a wall. The progress slows down, the lessons start to feel repetitive or disconnected, and motivation fades. Eventually, they tell themselves that Arabic is not for them or that it is too complicated. But the problem isn't with Arabic itself or with you. The problem is the all-in-one approach. Most people rely on just one tool or method and expect it to take them from beginner to fluent. But Arabic is too dynamic and multifaceted for a one-size-fits-all approach. If you want to make real, lasting progress and have fun in the process, then you need a multi-dimensional language strategy. Following my previous videos on learning Arabic, I've received a lot of comments from you guys to share tips and resources on how to learn Arabic. And so in this video, I want to share what I consider to be the ultimate guide to learning Arabic. A complete, honest, and flexible strategy in a way that actually works, having gone through the process of learning Arabic myself. Whether you're drawn to modern standard Arabic or dialect like Egyptian or Levantine Arabic, this is the roadmap that I wish more learners had from the very beginning. I'm going to break down 4 essential types of language learning that, when used together, create a complete and sustainable approach. Each one supports a different part of the learning process, and all of them are vital if you want to stick with Arabic over the long run. I'll also share the resources that I recommend for each of these areas, ones that are effective, easy to use, and tailored specifically for Arabic learners. The good news is that this strategy does not need to be overwhelming. You don't have to spend hours a day learning or shell out hundreds of dollars. Those tools are flexible, affordable, in most cases they're free, and most of the methods that I'm going to share can be worked into the rhythm of your life no matter how busy you are. You can do them on your commute, while cooking, during a break, or at work. They're designed to make Arabic part of your day-to-day life, not a separate task that you have to make time for. So there are 4 core modes of learning that, when blended together, create a complete ecosystem for language growth. First, there's active practice, then there's structured study, there's passive language learning, and there's real-world interaction. And those 4 core modes of learning feed into one another and reinforce each other over time. The first one, and arguably the most important one, is active practice, where you build core skills through repetition and recall. This is the mode where real, intentional learning happens. You're not just listening or reading, you're actively engaging with the language. Then there's structured study, where we aim to understand the why behind the language. It's the more analytical side of learning, reading about grammar, studying verb conjugations, and decoding sentence structures. Then there's passive exposure, where you let the language sink in naturally. It's the easiest and arguably the most enjoyable form of language learning. And then finally, there's real interaction, where you turn knowledge into communication. It also builds confidence. You learn how to navigate conversations, how to ask for clarifications, how to express yourself, even when your vocabulary is limited. So now finally, let's talk about the best tools and resources to include those 4 modes of study into your Arabic learning strategy. Yalla! Active practice. Of all the learning modes, this is really the one that will drive your progress forward. Active practice is where you're not just hearing Arabic or reading about it, you're engaging directly with the language in a hands-on, focused way. You're repeating new sounds, asking questions, working through vocabulary exercises, and putting together sentences piece by piece. This kind of learning is especially critical for Arabic because of how different it is from English and other European languages. The pronunciation involves sounds that may not exist in your native language, and the grammar structure operates on a logic that might feel unfamiliar at first. Active practice helps you build the muscle memory that you need to move past those initial obstacles. Now, the good news is that this kind of practice doesn't need to be dry or tedious. With the right tools, it can be engaging, immersive, and fun. And two of the most effective tools that I've found out there are Pimsleur and Mango Languages. These platforms go way beyond simple vocabulary list or translation exercises. They guide you through full conversations, reinforcing key structures, and they help you absorb Arabic through repetition and context, all while gradually increasing your fluency and confidence. Now, I just want to say that none of this is sponsored, by the way. All of the tools that I'm talking about are ones that I've personally used and that I know are great. So if you don't know Pimsleur, it's a classic in the language learning world for a reason. It's an audio-based program that focuses entirely on listening comprehension and spoken recall. But what makes it so effective is the method behind it. It uses spaced repetition and active participation to hardwire the language into your long-term memory. Each Pimsleur lesson is about 30 minutes long, and it follows a structured conversation format. You'll hear a phrase, repeat it out loud, and then be asked to recall it later on in future lessons, often in a slightly different context. The intervals between reviews are carefully calculated to help move vocabulary and sentence patterns from short-term to long-term memory. What makes Pimsleur particularly attractive and useful for Arabic is how well it trains your ear and mouth. Arabic has a number of sounds like ein that are very different from European or English sounds. Pimsleur's repeated exposure and guided pronunciation practice really help you to develop a more natural accent and listening ability without needing to see the script first. It's a hands-free, screen-free method that is perfect for fitting into your busy schedules. And beyond the audio, the Pimsleur app also includes written transcripts, flashcards, quizzes that reinforce what you've heard and that you can come back to practice what you learned. I think that this added layer is really helpful to really reinforce what you've learned and help you recognize Arabic script or cross-reference what you're saying with its spelling and grammar. Pimsleur offers modern standard Arabic, but also several dialects, including Egyptian Arabic and Levantine Arabic. It costs around $20 a month after a free 7-day trial, but many public libraries offer access to Pimsleur for free, so be sure to check your local library's digital resources. Now moving on to Mango Languages. While Pimsleur is audio first, Mango Languages takes a more visual and interactive approach. It combines audio, images, text, grammar notes, and cultural insights into a highly engaging learning experience. So if you're the kind of learner who likes to see what they're hearing, I think that Mango might be the better fit for you. Like Pimsleur, Mango lessons are also built around conversations, gradually introducing new vocabulary and grammar through real-world contexts. You're not just memorizing isolated phrases, you're really learning how to build sentences, ask questions, and respond naturally, using structures you'll actually encounter in real-world conversations. Again, like Pimsleur, there's a strong emphasis on pronunciation with built-in tools that allow you to compare your speech to native recordings in real time. One thing Mango does really well is integrate cultural knowledge into the lessons. For Arabic learners, I think that's very valuable because Arabic isn't a monolithic language. It varies widely across regions and many expressions are really tied to cultural norms. So those notes help you understand not just what to say, but why it's said that way. In 2025, Mango also introduced AI-enhanced features, including adaptive learning paths that adjust based on your performance, and instant pronunciation feedback that helps you fine-tune your accent with more precision. Just like Pimsleur, Mango offers modern standard Arabic and a range of dialects including Egyptian Arabic, Levantine Arabic, and Iraqi Arabic. Mango lets you try the first 3 lessons of each course for free, and it costs roughly $10 a month for a year-long subscription. But again, Mango is frequently available for free through public libraries, universities, and schools. So if you're in North America or Europe, chances are your local library system already offers access. While both Pimsleur and Mango are excellent learning tools, they offer slightly different learning styles. Pimsleur is great if you're looking for a clean, focused, audio-first approach that lets you practice speaking anywhere without distractions. Mango, on the other hand, is ideal if you like to see and interact with the content that you're learning. So I think the best way to go about this, if you don't know if you should choose Pimsleur or Mango, is to do the initial free trial for both and see which one clicks with you. Now, while active practice is where your fluency starts to grow and your speaking confidence begins to take shape, there might come a point where repeating phrases or mimicking patterns isn't enough and you want to dig a bit deeper and build this more solid foundation of grammar, understand why things are said in a certain way, why the verb is placed there, where's the logic behind the sentence structure, and this is where structured study comes in. This mode is less about performance and more about understanding the architecture of the language. It's where you slow down, you open a book, and you take the time to understand the actual mechanics of the language. Arabic is a language with a rich grammatical system that is quite intricate, and while you don't need to master every rule from the start, I think that having a grasp of how the language works and a certain foundation gives you a bit more clarity and perhaps confidence. So now I'm going to list the best books for structured study that you can keep coming back to anytime. First of all, there's the Al-Kitaab series, which is really the academic gold standard for Arabic. If you've ever taken Arabic in a university setting, chances are you've encountered the Al-Kitaab textbook series. It's widely considered the gold standard for Arabic instruction, and it's used in classrooms around the world. It covers all the essentials: grammar rules, verb conjugations, syntax, reading, writing, listening, and even offers video content. For learners who want a deep and thorough understanding of the language, I think that Al-Kitaab offers the most comprehensive resource out there. Another great book is Mastering Arabic. It's friendly, it's accessible, and it's great for those who find Al-Kitaab perhaps a bit intimidating or overwhelming. I think that Mastering Arabic offers a warm and approachable entry point. The tone is friendly, the layout is perhaps a bit more modern, and the content is full of small, engaging exercises that reinforce what you're learning. And while it doesn't go as deep, perhaps, as more advanced textbooks, it's a perfect starting point, especially for learners who want to ease into Arabic without feeling like they're drowning in technical terms. Now, another great book is Arabic Grammar in Context. If you're looking for grammar explanations that are rooted in real, everyday use, Arabic Grammar in Context is excellent. This book takes a more practical and example-driven approach to grammar, walks you through common patterns and structures as they appear in natural dialogues and texts. And the benefit of this approach is that it keeps grammar grounded. Instead of learning rules in isolation, you're learning how those rules actually show up in speech. Now, the last book I want to talk about is The Arabic Alphabet by Nicolas Awde. If you're just starting out and need a gentle but clear introduction to the Arabic alphabet, I think that this is the perfect book. I haven't mentioned this in this video so far, but Learning the Arabic alphabet is crucial. I think this is the first thing that you should do because it will just make everything much easier. When you're learning Arabic, you'll be able to look at how the word is written, and even if you're not learning MSA, even for dialects, I think that the Arabic script is really important to learn. It can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but trust me, it doesn't take more than a month or two to be able to start reading in Arabic. Books and structured study materials don't replace your speaking or listening practice, but they enhance and support it. And I think that when used well, they act like a compass. They help you make sense of what you're hearing and saying, and they give you the tools to construct your own sentences instead of just repeating others. Now on to passive exposure. Not all language learning has to be deliberate. In fact, some of the most powerful progress can happen when you're not trying at all. Passive exposure is what happens when you allow Arabic to kind of wash over you, when you listen to a podcast while you're doing dishes, when you catch a few lines of dialogues in a movie or TV show, or when you're listening to a song in Arabic. You're not sitting down with a textbook at a desk and you're not drilling vocabulary. You're simply being around the language, soaking in its sounds, its rhythms, and intonations. At first, passive listening might feel like it's not really doing anything for you, like you're just hearing a blur of unfamiliar sounds, and you might think, I don't understand any of this. But what's actually happening is much deeper, because your brain is starting to map the language, where words begin and end, which sounds tend to occur together, how sentences rise and fall. And even if you're not aware of it, you're building kind of like an internal mode for Arabic words. And just as important, passive exposure is low stress and it's supposed to be enjoyable. It really reconnects you with the reasons you wanted to learn Arabic in the first place, the music, the culture, the storytelling, the humor. It gives your brain time to process everything you've been learning without any pressure. Here are some of the most enjoyable and effective ways to integrate passive exposure into your daily life. First of all, of course, there's music. This can go from classical Egyptian songs to Levantine pop music and North African rhythms. Some of my personal favorites are Fairuz from Lebanon. There's also Diab, the king of Egyptian pop. I also really like Levant, who's a Palestinian and French musician who often mixes French, English, and Arabic lyrics into his songs. And I actually went to see him at a concert last year. So if you want, you can look up the translated lyrics, you can sing along, or you can just have the Arabic music playing in the background while you go about your day, to help tune your ear to the flow of the language. Now on to TV shows and films. These really help you with immersion. You hear how people speak in different situations, and you see how language interacts with body language, with facial expression. And Arabic TV shows span every genre, and streaming platforms like Netflix and Shahid, which is an Arabic content streaming platform, have made many of them more accessible than ever. So here are a few suggestions based on dialect and theme that I really like. There's Hayba, which is Levantine dialect. It's a hugely popular action drama series, which I really binged watched a couple years ago. Then there's a film called West Beirut, also Lebanese dialect. It follows 3 teenagers in 1975 as civil war breaks out in Lebanon. And then there's another film that I highly recommend, the Yacoubian building, which takes place in Cairo in Egypt. Now, when you watch those movies and TV shows, you don't have to worry about understanding everything. The goal is to just gain more exposure to Arabic, so feel free to just put English subtitles or subtitles in your native language, and just you can reduce your dependence on them over time if you'd like. Another amazing resource is of course YouTube, because it offers an infinity of different options. You can find everything from vlogs and cooking channels to small skits, storytelling, and political commentary. And I think that watching native speakers talk casually is really valuable for real world comprehension. Some ideas to get started is to look up for vloggers or creators from specific countries if you're learning a specific dialect, or just look up based on the topics, whether it's travel, cooking, or something else that interests you. Finally, there are podcasts, which are really a personal favorite. I listen to podcasts all the time, and it's a great way to get regular exposure to Arabic. Podcasts range from beginner-friendly to more advanced, and I'm going to share some of my favorites with you so you can start integrating them also into your daily life. First, there's Arabic Pod 101, which is a podcast that offers short, beginner-friendly lessons that mix modern standard Arabic and dialects and focuses on vocabulary and everyday situations. Another great one is Learn Levantine Arabic on the Go with Khaled Nasra, and it is designed for beginners and focuses mainly on Levantine Arabic. A third one is Better Arabic Podcast by Mohammed Salem. It helps, I would say, lower to intermediate learners build vocabulary and comprehension through clear, structured discussions on cultural and everyday topics. The Arabic We Speak is aimed at intermediate learners, and it focuses specifically on Levantine Arabic as it's spoken in daily life. Even if you only understand, let's say, 30 to 50% of what you're hearing at first, keep on going, because over time your brain will start to fill in the missing pieces and decode the rest. The best part about passive learning is that you don't need to carve out extra time for it. You just need to be intentional about your environment. Instead of scrolling social media in your native language, for example, you can start following Arabic-speaking creators. Instead of listening to music in English, you can try an Arabic playlist. Exposure, even in small doses, compounds over time. And what feels like background noise today will become more and more familiar as you progress. Now, finally, the last mode of learning, real-world interactions, is where the powerful learning happens, not just because it challenges the vocabulary that you acquired or your listening skills, but it also engages your emotions. You feel the thrill of successfully expressing a thought, of communicating with a native speaker for the first time. You use what you learned studying through Pimsleur or Mango, but you might also hear new vocabulary or sentences that you had not been accustomed to, and little by little, this helps you gain confidence and also connection with people who speak the language. And the best part is that you don't need to live in the Arab-speaking world to have these experiences, because with the tools that are available to us today, you can have real conversations with native Arabic speakers from anywhere in the world, often on your own schedule and completely for free or at a price that fits your budget. Italki is one of my absolute favorite resources. It's an online platform that connects language learners with native speaking tutors from across the Arabic speaking world. So whether you want to learn Egyptian, Arabic, Levantine, Moroccan, Gulf, Modern Standard Arabic, there's going to be a tutor for you. You can choose one based on your budget, your availability, your goals, and even your personality and teaching style. The power of italki is in its flexibility and its human touch. You can book sessions as short as 30 minutes, which makes it easy to fit into a busy week, or you can choose more structured lessons, free-flowing conversation, grammar corrections, and so on. Many tutors also speak English, or they might speak your native language, which can be comforting when you're just starting out. And because you're working one-on-one, every lesson adapts to your level and to your pace. Very importantly, you also get real-time feedback. You'll start to recognize the mistakes that you keep making. You'll be gently corrected and shown better alternatives, and you'll hear how native speakers actually express ideas. You'll also learn things no course can teach you, like Arabic slang, tone, politeness levels, and Arabic humor. And these are things you generally only absorb through real-world interactions. Even one session a week or every 2 weeks can really dramatically change how confident you feel in Arabic. If you're looking for something more casual or social and free, there's also HelloTalk and Tandem, which are 2 excellent mobile apps that connect you with language exchange partners around the world. The idea is simple. You help someone learn your language, and in return, they will help you with Arabic. These apps allow usually for text, voice, and even video chat, so you can correct each other's messages, send audio clips, or even have real-time conversations when you're both online. Now, if you're lucky enough to live in a city with a large Arabic-speaking community, please make use of this. Many cities host Arabic language meetups, film screenings, or cultural events where Arabic is spoken. So even attending as a curious outsider can give you a chance to hear the language in context and maybe make connections that lead to further practice. Universities and cultural centers sometimes offer conversation groups or tutoring for free or very low cost. And of course, if you ever get the chance to travel to an Arabic-speaking country, even for a short period of time, for a couple of weeks, take the opportunity. I went to Jordan 2 years ago and it was really life-changing. Nothing replaces the immersive experience of being surrounded by the language 24/7. But until then, it's also entirely possible to simulate that experience right from where you are. By using your Arabic with people from day one, learning the language becomes less of a distant goal and more of a living part of your everyday experience. By now, we've seen the 4 key dimensions of Arabic learning. Each targets a different part of your brain and keeps a different kind of momentum alive. But the real magic doesn't lie in any one of them. It lies in how they work together as a whole. Most learners fail not because they lack discipline or motivation, but because they rely too heavily on one approach. Maybe they spend hours memorizing vocabulary, but they never speak. Or they take a course and assume it should be doing everything. But when learning feels too fragmented or too repetitive, this is when we burn out and we eventually quit. When you're able to create a balanced rhythm, a loop that touches on all 4 learning modes, even briefly, even imperfectly, something really changes. Arabic stops being a subject and it starts becoming a presence in your life. The goal here isn't intensity, it's consistency. You don't need hours a day or a really rigid schedule. You just need a repeatable rhythm that keeps you engaged, energized, and connected to the language in multiple ways. What I would suggest is to commit to learning Arabic on Pimsleur or Mango 15 to 30 minutes a day at least. I think that this small act of showing up every day keeps the language alive in your head even when life is busy. You can complement this by setting aside a session once every week or every 2 weeks for focused study or for a session with a tutor where you go over grammar rules, for example. Finally, try to surround yourself with Arabic as a natural part of your environment, not as a task. Listen to music in the morning, go to events on the weekends, watch films, and just have fun learning the language and connecting with people. To conclude, there's no single, unique, correct way to learn Arabic, but I think that the people who do succeed, the ones who reach conversational fluency and actually enjoy the journey on the way, are the ones who build a system around variation, balance, and momentum. They don't just rely on one app or one book. They mix, they experiment, they show up consistently, even if for 10 minutes a day. And most importantly, they keep Arabic present in their lives, not as a burden, but as a way of feeding their curiosity. So that's it for this guide. I really hope that this gives you a clear roadmap for how to approach Arabic in a way that is not only effective, but also flexible, sustainable, and genuinely enjoyable. Whether you're learning modern standard Arabic or dialect, whether you're a total beginner or you're coming back to Arabic after a break, remember, it's not about mastering everything at once, it's about building a rhythm that keeps you moving forward one day at a time. I really hope you liked this video and that the resources I shared will be valuable. Please feel free to leave a comment down below saying what you liked, if you have any other resources you'd like to share for others, or if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to help. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.